The barrage of sending 2 people to the hospital, and it lands a rapper in jail. 7 Sheldon Fox with the exclusive.
Police and prosecutors say Pooh Shiesty was part of the group that ended up in this parking lot that October afternoon where the flew, and it happened right across the street from the police department and town hall here in Bay Harbor Islands.
Lawyers recently announced Bai's new release date after some shocking new details came out in his case. It turns out Bai was involved in an armed robbery while driving a green McLaren, and then he made a big mistake by posting a picture of the car on Instagram just 2 hours later. This led to him basically snitching on himself, which led to an immediate guilty verdict in court. To avoid even more trouble, Bai made a deal with the feds. As soon as word got out, the rap world went crazy, with many calling Bai a snitch. But then his best friend, Big 30, stepped up to defend him, saying, "Look at the paperwork. I'd do anything to help my family." While many rappers were quick to criticize Bai, they didn't really understand what was going on behind the scenes. DJ Academics recently brought up Shy's situation in jail, and honestly, it's got people talking. It's pretty wild to see someone facing the kind of charges Shy has just chilling in prison. Academics pointed out how Shy is living like it's no big deal, rocking a Rich and Millie watch, a fresh haircut, and even playing Fortnite Mobile in jail. Oh, and his Timbs, they're looking brand new. Not to mention, he's got 2 watches on, not just 1. So the big question is Shy really just chilling, or is there something else going on that we don't know about? What do you think? So the big question, did Shy snitch or not? Well, there's a new update in his court case that sheds some light on what really went down. Apparently, Shy and his friend set up a meet to buy high-exempt sneakers and some narcotics. Shy was seen driving a bright green McLaren, just chilling in the parking lot waiting for the seller. But here's where things took a turn. Instead of paying for the stuff, Shy and his boy decided to steal it. When the seller showed up and handed over the sneakers, Shy acted like he was checking if they were real, but in reality, he was stalling for time while they made their move. This gave his friend enough time to get into position for what was about to go down while negotiating on a price for the goods. A small argument brewed up between Shii and the main seller. This then got heated when Shii was seen grabbing a firearm from his waistband, resulting in the 2 men beginning to sprint away, trying to jump over the hood of their car for cover, but they weren't quick enough. Shii would be seen running around their car using his firearm and hitting both of them, hitting one in the backside and the other one in the hip. While Shy was taking care of the 2 men, his friend was grabbing the sneakers and narcotics from their car and tossing them into the green McLaren. Once Shy was sure everything was under control, he sprinted to the driver's side of the car. When he opened the McLaren's butterfly door, which opens upward, his Louis Vuitton bag fell right out of the side pocket and landed on the concrete. Shy didn't even notice it though, he was in such a rush to get out of there. Can you imagine how that felt, rushing through all that chaos and missing something so important? As Shy heard police sirens in the distance, he realized he had to act fast. Without a second thought, he left the Louis Vuitton bag behind in the parking lot, not even realizing it had almost $5,000 inside, but we'll get back to that later. In a hurry, Shy sped out of the parking lot and rushed to the nearest airport in Miami. There, he rented a private jet and took off, heading straight out of Florida. Once in the air, he couldn't resist showing off, so he opened Instagram and posted pictures of himself with the green McLaren. Little did he know that post would lead to his downfall. Just a few days later, he was arrested. The news quickly spread through Bay Harbor Islands, and things started falling apart for him. What do you think went through his mind when he hit post? Shy is now facing some serious charges, including armed robbery and battery. According to the affidavit, he and his friend fled the state on a private jet after the crime. After being booked into jail, Shy was able to bond out for $30,000. He stayed out on bond for about 2 months, but eventually he was officially arrested and sentenced for what he did. In court, the judge made it clear, saying, "Mr. Williams, you were arrested for these charges and a warrant was issued on June 30. Shy had 2 attorneys, Brad Coleman and another lawyer, standing by his side. It was clear this was just the start of a long legal battle." Do you think Shy expected things to go this way after everything happened? On April 20th, DJ Academics dropped a huge update. Shy was sentenced to 63 months in prison. He was originally facing up to 8 years, so a 63-month sentence was much less than expected. When DJ Academics shared on stream that Shy could be out sooner than people thought, it really caught everyone off guard. Some even started guessing he might be home next year, or maybe the year after. It was hard for anyone to believe at first, and people began looking into it more. What do you think? Could Shy really be out that soon, or is there more to this story? Shy seems to be owning up to what happened, doing his time without making excuses. He's making it clear that he's staying strong through it all. If he gets out soon, maybe in a year, he could bounce back. Some people think that the crime he committed was part of him trying to build a tough image to boost his rap career. But here's the twist. It turns out Shy's been living this kind of lifestyle since he was young, and it wasn't just a one-time thing. Knowing this, does it change the way you see his story? Shy's been living this kind of lifestyle for years. It's nothing new for him. Now that he's a successful rapper, he's just doing the same thing but with more money. If you look at PY, he was probably the biggest artist Shy's worked with recently, but just like Shy, PY had a past full of trouble before getting signed to Gucci. It's not like PY was a good kid and Gucci led him down the wrong path. He was already in trouble. Gucci wasn't around when he got into the mess that eventually got him locked up. Sometimes people end up in these situations because of the choices they've made in the past. What do you think? Does this change how you see these guys, or is it just part of their journey? Shy's always been the same person, even before all the McLarens and the flashy lifestyle. That's just who he was, so it wasn't a shock to anyone. Gucci, no matter how much he tries to help, can't change who someone truly is. Of course, when things like early releases happen, people start creating conspiracy theories, whether it's about life insurance or something else. But eventually the truth came out. Shy struck a deal with the feds called a proffer deal. This is when someone involved in a crime agrees to give up information in exchange for a lighter sentence. What do you think about this? Do you think it's fair, or does it change how you see the situation? Shy gave the feds detailed information about the crime he committed, which helped him avoid a life sentence. Instead of facing decades behind bars, he ended up with 63 months. But now, some rappers are calling him out, saying he worked with the feds and snitched on others. The reality, though, is that Shy only gave information about himself. By doing that, he made the trial process easier and got a lighter sentence. So what do you think? Was it wrong for him to do that? Or was it the smart move to protect his future? Shy made a pretty wild mistake during this crime, and it's almost too crazy to believe. His biggest error? He committed an armed robbery right next to a police station. The footage you're seeing was actually captured by the police station's own cameras. As soon as gunshots were heard, police cars came rushing out from across the street. They already knew exactly where the robbery was happening, so all they had to do was check the security tapes to see what went down. Can you imagine? What do you think he was thinking when he made that decision? The cameras across the street caught everything, and that's why Shy didn't pick up the Louis Vuitton bag. Luckily for the police, they were able to recover it, and inside was almost $5,000 in cash. This gave them a big clue about who was behind the robbery. So they started looking at Shy's Instagram. On his account, they found photos of him showing off stacks of $100 bills. By zooming in on those pictures, they could even see the serial numbers on the bills. With some sharp detective work, they were able to connect the dots. Do you think Shy's social media posts ended up being a big mistake for him? So here's where things really went south for Shy. The serial numbers on the money in the Louis Vuitton bag matched what he had posted on Instagram, and that was a huge clue for the police. But then he made his biggest mistake. Just 2 hours after the robbery, Shy posted a selfie with the green McLaren he used during the crime. It's almost hard to believe, but he did it. He didn't stop there. He went to Miami Airport, rented a private jet, and flew out of town. While on the plane, he even used the Wi-Fi to post 4 more pictures with the car. And all of this happened before even a year passed. Do you think Shy thought he could get away with it, or was he just not thinking clearly? While Shy was locked up, his team kept the momentum going by releasing a music video for his track Gone Mia. The video prominently featured his green McLaren, reinforcing his larger-than-life persona. However, despite the release of the video, a cloud of rumors continued to hang over him, particularly one that accused him of being a snitch. This rumor rapidly spread through the streets, and it began to tarnish Shy's reputation within the rap game. In the midst of these accusations, Shy didn't remain silent. From behind bars, he sent out a powerful message, addressing those who were disrespecting him and making it clear that he wasn't about to let anyone define his narrative. In a statement that oozed confidence, Shy proclaimed, "King She-We checking in from the penitentiary, the bad place they say I can't go, no snitching here. I'm still standing strong, millions are still stacking, tell Google to hum." This wasn't just a message of defiance, it was a bold declaration of his resilience, asserting that despite being incarcerated, he was still a force to be reckoned with. It was his way of telling his fans and detractors alike that nothing, not even his imprisonment, could break his spirit or his success. This message left many wondering, was Shy using his words to demonstrate that he was still in control, even from behind bars? Or was it more about addressing those who doubted his integrity, trying to clear his name and reassert his position in the game? Regardless of the intent, one thing was clear. Shy wasn't going to let the rumors dictate his legacy. He doubled down with another powerful message that left little room for interpretation. He directly addressed the issue of his finances, knowing that money is often used as a marker of success and credibility in the rap world. "Fix my net worth, because we can check it right now," he said, reminding everyone that he had already achieved massive financial success. "I was 21, already making 8 figures. Even Jay-Z can't touch my money. Stop messing with my name before I buy one of you out. You guys are nothing compared to me. I represent CG every day, and I'm not scared. No one has ever played with me. Even in jail, I'm still the king of Memphis. I never snitched, and I'm not about to now." This statement carried weight not just because of the financial figures involved, but because it encapsulated Shy's ethos. Despite being incarcerated, he wasn't letting anyone push him around. He was asserting his dominance in the rap game, reminding everyone that he had built his empire before he was even old enough to legally drink. He was proud of his success, and he wasn't about to let the doubters or the haters rewrite his story. His claim that no one has ever played with me was a direct challenge to anyone who thought they could take him down. In the rap world, respect is everything, and Shy was making it clear that he wasn't going to lose his by being falsely accused of snitching. He wasn't just defending his name, he was reaffirming his place at the top. "I'm still the king of Memphis," he boldly declared. This wasn't just about his hometown, it was a statement about his dominance in the rap game as a whole. Despite being locked up, he was still in control, and he wasn't going to let anyone forget it.